Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to do Bleach chapter 537 review. Yo! Oh! Oh no! Yo! Bleach chapter 500. Yo, man, let's go. Let's go. So, what are you talking about, man? Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Bleach. One last time. Bleach chapter 537 review. Wow, I mean, Taite Kubo. Oh, coming from the right with the hook, man. Son. Yo, Xbox, stop it. This week's chapter. On point. On goddamn point. I mean, first of all, the whole, and I'm not gonna lie to you, alright? After I read last week's chapter, I was assuming that we were gonna go into another flashback, because that's the way it seemed to trend to. However, it wasn't a flashback. It was more like, we saw pictures of what, we didn't see like the full occurrence of that incident where Masaki died. But it was more along the lines of we had Ishin having dialogue over what happened, and then as he's talking to Ichigo, he explained, and like there's actual pictures being shown of Masaki and himself, and so on and so forth. And when she gets confronted by Grand Fisher, and then we see like the blood and her on the ground, and so the way that he went about it, I liked it. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I was anticipating another flashback, but we didn't get another flashback. We got dialogue and pictures over that dialogue, pictures over the exposition about what occurred at that point in time, 9 years ago, June 17th. And the reveal of something very important when it comes to the Quincy, and how apparently Juha Bach over here is the predecessor of all Quincy, and all of the Quincy have his blood running through their veins, literally. And that's why they have these unique powers. He was the first fucking Quincy. It's the same concept as, Dracula and the vampires, if you guys have ever seen the show called, Supernatural, there's always like the alpha, or like the alpha, he is the originator of all of the mystical creatures, all the monsters that have these powers, and like he's like the top dog, and all the powers stem from him. And it's the same thing where Juha Bach is the alpha of the Quincy's. He's the predecessor of all the Quincy's, and there's actually like a legend behind him too, which I thought was actually very cool. I'm like, there's a legend behind the legend? Like, what the fuck? Like, who is this dude? Where apparently, according to Quincy Fairy Tale, it takes him 900 years to regain his heartbeat. 90 years to regain his consciousness, or I should say regain his intellect, and then 9 years to regain his power. And when he gained his, and in order to gain his power, he had to perform this thing called Aoshirin. And Aoshirin apparently is like a culling, or like some kind of particular thing that he performed, where he took the Quincy power from impure Quincy's. And what that wound up leading to was that he took the power away from apparently not only Ichigo's mother, but also Uryu's mother, Katagiri. And yeah, so Ryuken did marry Katagiri. That's confirmed now, obviously. And like that was very nice. Like the way, like again, it was all exposition in this week's chapter of Bleach, but it was damn good. It was the reveals and the talking and the last fucking yo. Listen, man, I told you before, Ishida Uryu is gonna be a quintessential role in this arc, and of course, I mean, I'm pretty sure like almost all Bleach fans knew that Uryu was gonna play a major role. And lo and behold, Juha Bach just chilling, like, yo, where's the subject hash vault? And the hash was like, right this way, sir. Right this way. And then you just see Ishida Uryu just stepping up. I'm like, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm fucking talking about. That's what I'm fucking standing ovation, man. I'm happy. Let me tell you why I'm happy. I'm very happy because when was the last time Ishida Uryu actually got a significant amount of push in the story? We all know this. We all know Soul Society. That was the last time. And then the way Taite Kubo is going to push Ishida Uryu is not going to be the same way he's going to do Chad. Oh, never. No. Ugh. Because you know why? Because the way it appears, the way this is stemming, or the direction of this arc so far, right now, it appears that Ishida Uryu is significant in his arc. Because remember, the way the story is shaped in Bleach is that the main characters seem to surmise a very key portion of each of these arcs, except for the Fullbring arc. Again, Rukia is a very important part of the Soul Society arc. Inoue Orihime was important halfway into the Arankara saga. And then Chad, he's a Fullbringer, and then they had to explain that, but he never was really important, but whatever, moving on. It appears that Uryu's going to be he's going to be even more significant in his arc than Rukia and her arc. That's the way it seems. Because of the fact, because of the whole entire direct link with their mothers. In the sense, not directly, the indirect link between their mothers, where Katagiri and Masaki died on the same fucking day. Well, no, correction, no, I'm sorry. Masaki died on that day, but Katagiri passed out, and then 3 months later she died because apparently she was already frail and weak to begin with from birth. So the thing about that's very important. Is now we understand. Now we get it. And also, what's very important is the fact that we now know, because ever since the beginning of this arc, we've seen that these Quincy have like unique powers. And from the series thus far, from the beginning of the show, from the beginning of the manga, up until the beginning of this arc, the Quincy have, or at least from what we've seen from Uryu and Ryuken, have like a base norm system of powers, like the arrows, the Harenkaku, and they have like the little metal items too that they use on occasion, the Springer and so on and so forth. Like they have certain skills that are very like set in stone for their species. Like again, like and another example would be how Hollow they can perform Sero, and then there's Sonido. And the Shinigami, they have the Flash Step, and they have Bankai and Shikai. Like, those are set-in-stone abilities for those species, for those beings. And when it comes to these unique abilities that occur during this arc, like, for example, how Roit and, Lloyd, how they can change their appearance and their forms, how we have certain Quincy that can turn to animals, how we have certain Quincy that can, like how Astronaut can do the needle thing, and he can, like impose fear into one person. Those Quincy's appear to stem from Juha Bach because there's a direct correlation with that. How the Quincy's always said, how these Sternritter, these Star Knights, how they'd always say how this is the power bestowed upon me by my king. Well, they're literally bestowed. Like, Juha Bach can literally give Quincy's unique powers because the blood that they have running through their veins are directly linked with his own blood. So, again, like, it answers questions that we've been looking for answers to, and Kuba's answered questions. That's good. That's good. That's very good. So now we know. Now we see. This week's chapter, it's a damn good chapter. Like exposition solely, but it's a very important chapter when it comes to establishing how things fundamentally work with the Quincy's. He explained how because the whole entire thing with the Blue Vein, how normally Masaki could have easily taken out someone of Grand Fisher status. Easily. However, she could not because of the Aushirin that Juha Bach was performing by taking the Quincy powers away from those he considered unpure. Now, granted, even though as far as we know, she is. Masaki is actually a pure blood Quincy. She is. However, fucking the guy mowing the lawn, fuck this guy. However, the thing about this that's very important to know is that she had hollow powers imposed inside of her the moment that unique hollow bit on her neck. So that's the thing. She was impure by the notions and by the standings of the king of the Quincy's. She was not fit to have her powers. She was not fit to retain her Quincy powers because she was unpure, and thus they were taken away from her. And thus, at that point in time, she died because she could no longer perform the Brute Vein. And now we know that apparently you can actually train Quincy's who are impure can actually train their they can train themselves in order to perform the Brute Vein. And that was also explained in this chapter too. And there's also one last thing about this chapter. That's actually pretty nice. It appears that Ichigo Kurosaki has come to, I guess, the realization of what he has to do. Because there was a phase where after we have his father explain about the entire situation, about how he could have saved her, but he didn't save her because he believed that she was going to be fine, and in fact, that was not the case. The whole entire thing about Juha Bach, where he tells about Juha Bach in the story and the blood, because Ichigo has his blood running through his veins as well, as should Karin and Yuzu. And him explain that. And then he sees, and there's like a little bit of like a flashback in his mind where he remembers what Juha told him, and then how he said, farewell, my son born in darkness. Now, what the exact detail of that is, I'm not too sure, but maybe the in darkness part may mean that his son, who was never really fully exposed to his Quincy powers, who had all these powers who were already pre-established inside himself, maybe that's the whole entire darkness skit, where his Quincy powers were never really the predominant powers up until like now, because he did perform the Brute Vein when he had a block against Yuha's sword. So I'm not saying that his powers of Quincy are dominant. I'm saying that his powers of Quincy are starting to manifest very strongly now. But as what that actually means, the whole entire my son born in darkness, I'm not too sure on that, so I won't make a fair I can't really make a fair judgment on that just yet. But moving on, once he says that, he actually has like a calm over him, like the way Kubo actually drew it out. I'm not a guy who's very art savvy, and I do recognize art on rare occasions, but like the way he drew it out, where Ichigo's eyes, like they were very sharp, they were very emboldened, and in a way very like he had, like there was something about the whole entire panel where he just had like this demeanor over him, where he understood what had to be done now. Now what he's gonna do at this point in time, I don't know. Maybe go back to Soul Society and go talk to that go try and go back to the Royal Court Guard squad so he can retrain. Maybe he can go talk to Ryuken. We don't know, because the question is now that he's in a sense, now that he's back to page 1, now that he's back on step 1, where should he go now? Should he try and focus on his Shinigami powers now? Should he go towards his Quincy powers? Should he try and go to the Hollow section or his Fullbring section? Should he try and focus on all powers at once? We're not too sure. I want to say that he's gonna go talk to Ryuken. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he's gonna go talk to Ryuken, and then maybe go back to Oetsu at some point, because Oetsu did say, find out who you really are. So we don't know where he's gonna go from now. But the chapter, like in my personal opinion, I thought it was a great chapter. I thought it was a great chapter. Yeah, I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought it was a great chapter. And Uryu Ishida. Oh, Oh man. Yo, where do we go from here? Power increase? Star Knight? Is he gonna join the next invasion? Yeah. If he goes and assists Juha Bach and the boys in their next assault on Society, that'll be some crazy shit. That'll be some crazy shit. And I would love that a lot. Now, what would Ryuken do? Because Ryuken, being Ishida's father, being Uryu's father, he may step in. Because, again, he's trying to talk to... if he were to oppose Juha, he could literally have his powers taken away. Because Juha apparently has that right. Or at least when he performs the Aoshiren, he can take away Quincy's powers. So maybe there are certain steps needed to prepare for the Aoshiren, and then he can take your powers away. Or if he can just do it on the spot, like, fuck you. And also, what this does answer is it answers how these other Arankarer were given Quincy powers. Because Juha Bach, in a way, he gave them his blood, and his blood has Quincy powers. So he bestowed these, because again, we've always seen Arankarer kind of have, like, Shinigami powers. That's what we've seen so far in the course of the Arankarer saga. But never Quincy powers. And, well, these particular Arankarer, they were found in Hueco Mundo, and Juha Bach granted them his power. Because he can do that. Just how a vampire, Dracula, can bite out people's necks and give them power, and give them the power of the vampire. Well, he can do the same thing, blood, here's the blood. Maybe they need to drink it, maybe it's a ritual, we don't know exactly. But regardless, he can do that. And that's very important. Because, it can lead to a whole lot of things. It can lead to a whole mess of things. So, at this point in time, we may see Uryu get a significant power increase, which he needs. He desperately needs. Oh my god, he needs it. Like in the last arc when this guy was taken out from the back by Tsukishima, get the fuck out of here. That was no. Uryu is gonna be if he's not as powerful as his Lichtenstein form back in Soul Society, then, or even more powerful, then fuck me. Because I don't know, like there's something about the Ishida family that I always found, because now we know that they're actually like a very esteemed family amongst the Quincy. So now the question becomes, okay, so what does Juha Bach want to do with him when it comes to, like, him, and because I'm pretty sure he knows well about his father, Ryuken. And there's going to be some conflict between those two. His father, Ryuken, and himself, Uryu. So, but where that goes, only Kubo knows. So the chapter overall is a great chapter. It truly is. A great chapter, Bleach. Kubo, thumbs up. Just thumbs up. Thumbs up. Good job. And I'm signing out. Be sure, of course, rate, comment, and subscribe as always. Peace. Have a nice day.